Climbing up from studying from finals on the Thursday. What's today?
Today is December 6th at 11. No, what the heck? It's 9:20. It's been a long day.
So long.
And I have a prediction that the day that Kennan's car is ready to go back on the road, the high will be 86 degrees.
If it doesn't, we're on the second or third?
Third, I think.
Third?
No, third second.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like
If it doesn't rain.
If it doesn't rain.
If it doesn't rain, you really will.
And there she is. That. Yeah. So, because I'm going to do the winter project thing, which is just like complete engine stuff and more explanation on that. Like, yeah, 86 when I get out, when I'm done with that thing and it's on the road, done. We'll see. So, basically, what we're doing tonight is I'm going to take out a IC chip out of this thing, which is right over here. You can yeah, there he is right there. That beautiful, that guy right there. I got another one of them here, and I'm hoping that's the reason why my tack doesn't work. So I'm going to take him out with that new $4 soldering iron from Harbor Freight. Thanks, guys, for sponsoring. Just kidding, no, they're not. And then probably start on this, pouring and polishing this, and standing outside and cleaning that up. And then on this soon, I'll pour and polish this. I'm probably just going to get this ready tonight and prep the surface for paint. I'm going to wrinkle paint it black, which is going to be sick. It's all pretty clean. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit more, and then make sure it's completely degreased, and then tape it up and get it ready for painting. And then let's box it. Yeah. And that's that. But I'm also going to take out the exhaust manifold tonight because I'm not driving this for a little while, the next 2 days. So I'm going to take that out and then pour and polish that, and then put that back in for, because that's the only exhaust manifold I have. So, and all the headers are like a couple $100 and it's ridiculous, and then I'm going to eventually turbo this, so why would I do that? I'm not going to spend useless money, so I'm just going to clean that up and get as much flow as out of it as I can. And I'm going to do that, and when I get home, I'm going to sandblast the inside out so that to get rid of any other further, whatchamacallit, just roughness, I guess you would say, inside of it, and then that'll be nice, depending on how bad it is inside, but I figured it'd be pretty nasty because I have another one over there that's got an EGR valve on the other side. It's got a little EGR outlet right there, but I don't want to mess with that one, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll see how that goes, but I'm honestly probably going to do this tonight, some of that, and then, like I said, prep that for paint, and we'll see how that goes. And then Manazzi, who's been chilling here, he's going to paint.
Paint my own wing with this Rusty's and the Rust-Oleum.
Exactly. Anything else?
That's literally it for today.
That is literally it. But he's going to paint the rear wing for his spoiler. He has the 2000 Celica GT. Not the GTS. Not just the GT.
Full stock.
So, just going to paint this and then probably help me with the valve cover over there. And then life will be good. And got a lot. It's the winter again, so bought a bunch of shit, and it's gonna be good. Got them out. See where those holes are? That's where those used to be. Finally got that thing out, and then about to put this guy. Took me a few minutes because I had to figure out how to get the solder onto this tip, and the solder doesn't want to stay on the tip. So I made a little solder sucker out of this here vacuum. And the cardboard gets stuck in it again. So, yeah, it's going well. We're taking our time. Just getting this guy soldered in here. And then Manassi's chilling. He just... What'd you finish doing?
I waited for the main part to dry, and I just put the first coat onto the little spoiler stands thingies. So waiting for that to dry, put on the second coat in a minute.
And then... What'd you do in here?
Exhaust manifold. It was like a couple bolts, just took them off. And yeah, it's over there, really rusty.
Yep, it's sitting over there. I'm gonna mock that out with the head over there and figure out how much I'm gonna pour and polish that out, and that'll be next after I go inside and rip out the cluster to put this guy in. I'm going to put this in the cluster, and we're going to fire up and see if it works. Keep up my fingers crossed, you know. See how it goes. Test to see if the attack works. Nope. Grip. It's not a connection. That sucks. I threw the gauge cluster in with the tack and didn't work. So spent a couple hours soldering that in for nothing, but oh well. Figured something out, eliminated one option, and then I'm gonna get started on that in a little bit and insert clip of engine with no header spitting blue flames here. And then Manassi is gonna get the last few droplets out of those cans and throw them on that. It's gonna be wild. Alright, so been hard at work. Manassi finished his wing. It's not on there. It's on the car. Looks pretty sick. Show that to you later. But been working on the intake right now, and it looks pretty dirty, right? But actually, it's a lot of pitting. It's a lot of dirt in the pits. So this one I started on, and it looks pretty decent. But you see all the pitting, and then on the top, what I figured is I'll just lightly clean those up and make them not so filthy, and just kind of basically shine them up to about that. Do a little bit better maybe. And this, I want a nice brushed aluminum look, and then it's got the fuel injection 16 valve, the 16 valve EFI logo here that I want to keep on. So I am just sanding the crap out of it with some 320. May need to drop a little bit lower, but the pitting here is making it a bitch. Just from the cast, it's just bleh. So this side is looking pretty nice. Obviously there's a bunch of more pinning there and stuff, so it's going all right. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that, but I just don't want it to look like that. So, but I don't want to paint it either. I like the look of brushed aluminum, so I may just sit down for another hour and work on it while I watch some Office or something on my phone. Just kind of, I don't know, it takes a while. I was just jamming out earlier, getting it done, but here I spray painted the valve cover. I forgot to show you a clip earlier, but this is about an hour and 15 minutes in with the wrinkle paint, and it's looking pretty good. I think I'm about to bust out the heat gun and see if I can accelerate this process a little bit more so I can get the tape off the Toyota and the emblems and stuff. Not the emblems, I'm sorry, the lines here. But it's looking pretty good, to be honest. The lighting is way better over here, but yeah, it's getting there. Update on how we're doing. Here's a, if I can find out how to, I can't switch the camera. So, this is what I look like right now. I'm taking a hit of Coke. Sorry I'm stuffy, but got a little bit of cold going on, and it's chilly out. I've been blowing dust. My nose is just going off. So I'll take this back over here, and if you look in there, you can see, let's see, there we go. You see that shiny thing? That was a large nub, about a quarter-inch taller than that, and I just ground the shit out of that and got rid of that. I was like, alright, I can see it, I can take care of it, so I did that. And the main thing is I ported this out, and I faced this off a little bit. There's a bunch of like rust I was developing on here and expanding. Knocked it all off. Pretty flat now, and think it'll made up to the car pretty well. It's definitely not perfectly flat, but I don't have any means to. I don't have any Precision Instruments right now. But all I did was poured it out pretty nicely. It came out pretty nice, to be honest. I went about 60, 70 thou over diameter. Not too crazy because there's not a whole lot to do, and also haven't made it up to this. I gotta finish. I gotta do the head before I can keep going with this. So this is not too big, and it's just not right. So I'm gonna do that before I continue with this. But this is a pretty good start. I did a pretty decent job as far as I think I stretched what I could do with it, and then smoothed it out a little bit, and that's pretty much it for this. That came out pretty alright. Took a little bit, but whatever. I just tried to make the pockets deeper. I tried. What I did, like here, I ground out on the outside here and on the upper edge. Same here. This goes straight down, so I lowered the floor a bit more, and the roof I angled in. There's like large bowls up here that I just took out and I smoothed out, so it's nice and smooth and stuff in there. A lot less shit. That's that. And then this, I just got tired of sanding them, so I did the top. That was my goal, and pretty much finished it. So it looks pretty nice. You get closer, you can see the pitting and stuff. That's just from the casting, and it sucks because it'd take a lot of work to get out, and the amount of sanding required is ridiculous. So right now it's just kind of fine. From a distance, it's pretty good. So I don't know if I want to lightly paint over it, but I don't really want to do any paint because I like bare aluminum. I like the appearance of brushed aluminum. And the valve cover, this is what we're going with. Came out really nice. I'm glad I didn't polish it because it blinged too much. But I like this light brush look. It's super nice. I like the wrinkle paint. It's came along great. This super stoked for that. So now that I've got that done, that took a while to be meticulous, and I taped everything off, and I taped off all these strips, all the letters, and that was a pain because I put tape over it, used a razor blade, cut out the shapes and everything, and to get it to look nice, so all the edges and everything came out nice, was just a pain. I had to be super meticulous, the curves right here, all that good shit. So no, I was just super meticulous, took a lot of time, and now I'm looking at this. I'm just gonna kind of go over it. I don't know if I'm gonna touch anything on it. My roommate's gonna be getting up soon. It is currently 8:30 in the morning, and I need to take a shower soon so we can go to the innovation lab at UCF and get some stuff going for design work that we have in mind. So also be nice to make some breakfast and stuff. So, and take a break because I've been going at this for a long time. I literally have been nonstop keeping this thing going with a heat gun, going between that, and then as soon as I finished that, and I was like still kind of going this, I just kind of let this do its thing now, and then I was going ham on the exhaust manifold for 45 minutes or so, just hitting that real good, and then just kind of lightly hit it with the sanding, what you call it, these little sand bird things, I forget what they're called right now, but I thought it came as a rotary tool for my Dremel, but didn't, so it was in the drill, and so now that's my hesitation as far as going into this, because I don't want to use these carbide bits on the aluminum because it'll just eat right through it, and I don't want to like just go ham on this block. I want to take my time with the sanding. So my little predicament there, so I'm just going to kind of take it easy with some sanding stuff that comes with this Dremel kit that I've had, like this little sanding wheel and stuff, and just kind of start slow and see what I can get going and see what happens. But yeah, that's where we're at. I am about to start cleaning up these valves here. I got all the intake and all the exhaust on the lower side here. About to start cleaning up all these guys. My book of knowledge, clean those guys up, do the valves, stem seals, and then lap the valves. And I'm gonna use the chuck. I'm gonna put them in the truck and put some old tape over the stems, and then put them in the truck. Use some Scotch Brite, basically that over there, but some newer stuff. Use that, and then this is what the head looks like. Here's the exhaust side. Here's our sheet for our banner. Excuse my favorite singer right now. Here's the exhaust. I poured it over about 200 thou over. So looking pretty good. This is just the exhaust side. I didn't really polish it so much, just really cleaned it out. Opened up that divider. I didn't open it up too much, just because I don't want to be doing ridiculous damage, but see, I gotta lap those valves, are pretty nasty, but just kind of cleaned everything up. And then the intake side is pretty freaking nice. Oh, the valve cover came out mint. It's a wrinkle paint, first time using it. That came out great. And then that's the intake side. Just absolutely gorgeous. With the light reflecting on the side, it really mirrors off, and I'll show you that in a second. But super nice. Definitely, it was really pitted. That's what it looked like right there. It's basically this. That's what it looked like before I cleaned it all up. So looking a lot better. I did it on the intake side, just on the entrance briefly there, and then cleaned up the right here. So that looks good. I gotta clean it off. That's all those markings just from when I washed it. Cleaned it all up. Just kind of cleaned this thing up in general. It's not so hideous. It was pretty nasty. I'll show you what it looked like previously, because from the one that's in the car right now. And then, so yeah, that's what I'm working on now. And then Manassi's got his car in here. And what are you doing, Manassi?
I have a kiddie pool in the back of my car.
Oh
where
man,
the tire was.
Splash.
Because I took my spoiler off to paint it black, and it rained when it was off, and so all the water went in the trunk, and now it's percolating back here. So I gotta clean that out, and I'm also gonna take the seats off and see if there's any water pooling up under there or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I have some water issues sometimes, even when it's not raining, so we gotta sort that out.
Yep.
And yeah, and then I'm gonna make a banner for our race shop.
Oh man.
Branding up in here.
Yes, sir. That'll be
today's two main projects.
That's what that sheet over there is for. That's by the block that I put over on the side, but
we got a metallic gold paint.
Yep. That and it was black too, right? Because the sheet's blue.
Yeah, she's dark navy blue.
Perfect.
I'm not gonna get decapitated.
Yeah, definitely got a safety check. But I pulled it up here earlier just because behind this plastic is the mounts for the wing, and we had taken them out. I put tape over them, but we had a monsoon the night after, and we didn't know that it was going to happen. So the car was outside, and it just poured. I didn't really think.
The tape never stood a chance.
Yep, tape never stood a chance. So everything's pretty soaked. It's been soaked for about 4 days now, or however long it's been. I don't know. Lose track of time. But he's going to be working on this, and then he's going to hop up in this banner and get this popping. We went to the lab earlier today. Ooh. And we got
the cardboard cut out.
Yeah. So we started getting the cardboard stuff cut out right here. So this is what it looks like from the laser cut. So yeah, she put on repeat, and yeah, looking hella good. And then our numbers on over there, that'll be on the sides too. So we're getting there. That B is gonna go not over there. We're thinking right there. So throw some more car posters up in here and make it nice. But yeah, at the shop costumes when I'm getting really dirty next week. My nasty clothes and trash. Obviously we have washer and dryer, and the great workspace where everything happens and all this other stuff. And got the new roommate coming in. He may be joining us on all our shenanigans, and it'll be pretty sick. Oh yeah, he's pretty chill. It'll be chilling. Everything is gonna be chill.
Alright, check this out. So this is where my seats used to be. It's very dark. I need that light, thank you. So there's like mold and stuff. It's really disgusting. My seats were on top of that. They're like all cushiony and they have like, this is all of that is just soaking wet. So I'm trying to figure out where that is coming from, if that's a leak or if that's like a seal or something that's letting water come in. So underneath the car, it's like, I don't know if you can tell or not. Yeah, there's like that spot right there. There's water. It's like pouring from underneath. So I'm about to jack up the car and see if I can tell where that's coming from. Get closer to the bottom of this mystery. You know?
Amen. And then
That's what's happening.
yes sir, oh snap. And then, I'm still working on the valve train, and I totally forgot that I didn't clean anything. So I made it with a brake clean first. Throw them in the truck with a little bit of tape. I know it's hardened steel, that's what valves are, but, you know, just in case. I just don't want to mess anything up. So safe than sorry. And then hit them with a little bit of the Scotch-Brite, getting all the crap off. This is really just after the Scotch-Brite, and then as soon as I know the Scotch-Brite, I hit them with a 3000 grit, just to like find everything off if there's any other chunks or whatever. Because I'm trying to get this mating surface cleaned off, and there's no major chunks on the face. And honestly, it's pretty good. There's light pitting on there. You can see if it'll focus. Sorry. There we go. See like light pitting around the edge, like on the face there. But honestly, it's pretty fine. But I hit it with the fine, and then that's pretty much it. And then I'm gonna probably brake clean it lightly again, just to make sure there's no residue, and then be done with it and keep going on here. So definitely gonna take a little bit, but nothing. Not trying to get anything really major going, no major polish or anything. And there's also a coating that I believe it comes on these valves right off the factory, so that they don't, you know, accumulate all this crap on them. So this is what it looked like beforehand. It's not, you know, nice at all. It's pretty nasty. But the main thing is that sealing surface right there. Let me see if I can. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Right there. That sealing surface. You basically want to clean up. There's not a whole lot of crap on the back end of the intake, so I'll still clean it up. But and that nasty face right there. But the intakes aren't that bad. It's the exhaust that are just like really bad here. Like, look at that. Definitely getting really close, and that's, oh man, yeah, definitely gonna lap the crap out of these valves. Make sure they're seated well. But yeah, all that pinning and all that gunk on there, definitely gonna get all that crap off, and that's pretty much it. It really doesn't take long, but it's a process. So process takes time. Trust the process. So, and this is with a bit of lighting. This is what we're looking at here. But yeah, this is the back side. Nothing crazy. Just to get it done. Look at that. Much nicer. And probably see you guys with an update as far as Minazzi goes, because I'm going to be doing this for a while. So yeah. Yeet. Come on, if it'll focus. But yeah, it comes out a lot cleaner. You can see the mating face right there. That I forget what that face is called right now, but that looks so nice compared to what it was, which is that. Alright, tried to get as far as we can, but that Harbor Freight battery only got us so far. So got all done with the intake, and then got to the exhaust, and they're a bit more stubborn. And as you can see, let me grab one here. Oh, look at that. Nice and so much clean. It doesn't look that clean, but all the shit's off, you know? Look at that face. Beautiful than your mother. Not really, probably. I mean, I haven't seen your mother. But here's what it looked like. God, yeah, look at that nasty shit. Your air's got to pass through that to get out your ass. God. Oh, anyway, so I got that going, and then tomorrow I'll finish that. See if I can make a lap valve out of lapping tool to lap these fucking valves with this here nerf bullet, you know, stick that on, but probably have to go to advance and pick one up. Fucking hell. And then, yeah, so I'll do that, and see if I can lap the shit out of that and these valves, because they're not sealing that well. I can see on the mating surface. This is a intake. The exhaust ones are worse. Let it focus. Come on, Kangaroo Jack. Let's go. There we go. Yeah, you can see like the little discoloration on the surface there. It's nice and shiny, majority, and then on the lower half there, you can't really see. I'm sorry. Anyway, we got that going on, and then my graphic designer here is munching on some. What do you call these? Bengal? Oh,
kettle cooked.
Kettle.
Sea salt and vinegar. You know.
Oh shit! Are we sponsored by them?
Just a little sponsor.
Just, hey man, thanks lads for sponsoring us.
Please give us money.
Couldn't have done it without you. And what's this phone number we got here?
We got the 303 rating branding. You know, on a banner, it's just a tablecloth. You know what I'm saying?
A tablecloth.
Nothing fancy. And yeah, so we'll peel that off tomorrow.
Is this a plastic tablecloth?
It is not a plastic tablecloth.
The fuck is it?
Cloth tablecloth.
Oh.
Tablecloth, all capital.
See, what he means to say is it's a bed sheet.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a bed sheet.
It's a bed sheet.
That's what it is. And
That's what it is.
yeah.
I don't know. It's 3 o'clock. I'm very tired.
Yeah.
But
3:03. That's how we roll. 3 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, yeah, it is like 3:03 in the morning. Right
There
now.
we go.
But yeah, navy blue, and then we got the metallic gold lettering, and so we'll see how that looks, and we'll put it on that wall over there.
Right, this is not that big blank white block of nothingness right fucking there in the middle of our shop. Remind everyone who we are, and everyone being us, because we're usually the ones in here.
People that are gonna see it.
Yeah, there's more people coming. There's more people coming. You know, if you want to come by and stop, check it out. We're gonna be famous one day. You never know.
This banner will be worth like 10 grand in like 10 years.
Like an original Facebook logo. Fucking jizzed on and everything in the college dorms. Design right there. You don't know what else. Oh, sorry, I wasn't aiming the camera right. There you go. There you go. There it is. Look at that. Boom. Look how beautiful that is.
It's pretty beautiful.
Dude.
It's great.
That came out so good. Oh, man. Dude, that's on a bed sheet. Look at that. Bruh. It all starts here. Alright, well, we got this up. And then I'm going to go finish cleaning those valves in a little bit. Make sure the battery's fully charged my drill. Once I'm done with that, probably get ready to start assembling the head, do the valve stem seals, and onto that. And then roll that thing in, and we'll see how it goes from there. But that is... We are back. I have cleaned everything, got the old valve stem seals out, and then I started lapping a valve here, right here. See that nice new seal? Oh, yes, beautiful. So that. So I just started on that one. That was my first one, and this, guys, what this looks like. Just focusing on my finger. Get that. Yeah, you can kind of see the ring right there. But that, and then somehow I don't know how it happened, but I had this open over here. I squeezed out a good fat lapping compound. That's okay. I'll use like at least half of that for the rest of this, but I'm gonna keep going on this. Custom little lapping tool, a Nerf bullet, and
Who's lapping now?
exactly, got him, smart ass. And then that fits perfectly in a mechanical pencil. You take it apart, and then the thick part of the end, it fit perfectly in there. It's super snug, it's not coming out. Using that, and it works perfect. So using that, it'd be nice to have a bigger one, but whatever, it's doing the job just fine. It takes definitely like a few minutes per each valve, and I got to make sure that they're oiled up and that the lapping compound isn't getting down into the into the guides and mixing up with oil, because that would suck. So that's just going to take a while. And then I started on this briefly, just kind of seeing what it to like take out one of these oil seals for the whatchamacallit, the spark plug socket things. I'll show you later. And this guy has been going off in my car.
Unscrewing everything.
Here, just take them and show them. There's a torque.
I will show them around. Alright, so we're installing a short shifter basically into this car because he has a very long shifter.
Roll like a boat.
Yep. So this is the old shifter. It's very, very, very long. See right there. Yeah. And here's the short shifter. So this is the short shifter, and you can see it's quite the length difference. I'm gonna get a better angle down here. Yeah, see the length difference. So basically, you had to take out the center console, and to take that out, you had to take out both of the panels on the driver's side and the glove box on the passenger side to get to all the screws. So that's out, and so now I will change out the shifters, the shift levers. So yeah.
Sick.
After I go get some Lay's kettle cooked chips, you know.
Amen.
Sponsorship.
Might go hop in and get the got some leftover pasta. Well, freshly cooked pasta as of like 4 hours ago. So I'm gonna go hop into that, and we're gonna have a little bit of a food break, I think, and hop back into this. Go back to lapping some valves.
Lapping some valves.
Amen. So, a bit of an update here. I managed to get my makeshift valve lapping tool here to work. A couple of Nerf bolts with a pencil that worked great. Went through 2 of those little caps here, Nerf bolts. Went well, lapped all the valves. They came out great, all beautiful. I ended up cleaning them out again. Got in all the valve stem seals here. Those are looking great. And then got my first exhaust valve in that I'm about to put the valve spring assembly on and see how it goes. Everything's been all cleaned out. About to start putting this valve train back together here. Hopefully I can figure out a good method for this, because this doesn't really fit in. If you look at these bowls over here,
It's trash.
yeah, it's complete trash. So this just doesn't really work, and I'm going to have to figure out a method here. Make my own tool. I don't know. I got to figure out how I can do this though. But this is what I've been fearing the most, to be honest. Everything else was just time consuming. It's going to be really time consuming, and it's going to suck. But we'll see how it goes. The Nazi here.
I don't remember where we left off, but I did the
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
short shifter. The old shifter, these little balls here were smaller on the old one than they were on the new one, so we had to sand these 2 down.
To fit the bushings here, these plastic bushings.
Yeah.
So to fit the bushings, we tried shoving them in, and we were like, oh, something seems wrong with the size, and
That was a drastic size difference.
yes.
It took quite a few hours to sand
It's
down.
like 40,000, I think. It was like
Yes.
it's like 40.
I feel like it might have been 50 actually.
Oh yeah, it was a bit,
It was like 50.
but he did a good job sanding my ball smooth.
Yep.
And that's going to be able to go in the car soon. And then, but right now, he's tearing into this. He just kind of started recently. We got the throttle body off. He cleaned that up, and starting to put all the stuff on the side.
Cold air intake, exhaust. So yeah, just kind of disassembling.
And then
General disassembly.
Yep, and the coolant. And then he's just going to kind of hop in here and keep going from here. Distributor, intake, and next thing you know, we'll start hitting the coolant system and getting all this crap out of here, and just kind of worry about this mess of vacuum lines here. Let me turn on the lights. So you can, all those wonderful vacuum lines. That's just kind of the crappy part of the deal. But other than that, it's pretty simple. And then we'll start. We got to take off this wheel down here, so we can get to the timing belt cover and take off these 2 belts, and so we can mess with the timing belt and get that off, and go from there. But he's diving into it, and that's where we are right now. So we will see you in like 3 seconds. Oh, and back with the head here. We got all the valves lapped last night up until like these last 4 up here on the exhaust side, with the valve in currently. Got all of them lapped. They're looking hella good. We finished about 7 a.m. this morning, and then got back up.
AM this morning.
Yes, sir. And then got up at like whatever it was 4. He got up earlier than I did, and then went back into it. But these are all looking good. Got all the new seals on them, all lapped, ready to go. And then just about to start putting this valve spring assembly in here. Goes the valve spring. Valve spring is going to go over the valve, and then the valve. Valve stem. Oh, I got the valve stem seals in too. Boom, right there. Those things were right there. And so goes a spring. Retainer goes on top of that, and then these keepers, they go in. They sit in there, and those hold the valve through those little dip. Those little gaps there.
Little ridges.
Yeah, little ridges. Perfect.
Little valleys.
Yeah, little valleys.
Indentions.
And there you go, man. Any other words?
Little cavities.
Cavities. You want to fill those cavities with these here keepers. You want to keep the cavities and fill them with the keepers. And there, the retainer holds the valve in and keeps it up. And so about to throw all that in. And then once all those are in, get to throw in the caps. These the valve caps. And then this is pretty much done. And it's all ready to go. And then I made a special tool here to help to put them back in, the little quarters. I'm going to have to tape them all together. Hopefully this works well. So we can press it down and then put the keepers in, because that's going to be a pain in the ass. Because when you press it down, you need to be able to place the keepers in on the valve, on the valve seat. It's not going to be easy. So I had to do that because a thing over here that I got from Advance is a piece of crap, and it doesn't work with these big bowls here. These are just too big, and it won't be able to compress the valve spring enough. So gonna use this, and then put a socket over it, push it down, and the Nazi's gonna fit all the keepers in, and it's gonna be great. And then I also, one thing I wanted to point out is I lapped all the valves yesterday with a Nerf bullet, and this is a mechanical pencil that I used, and there's the other suction cup because it wore out, and I had another one. But I lapped them all with that, and it was dope. Saved $10. It was dope. And then this man, woo, went nuts on my engine bay. He got all this shit out. Exhaust manifold, distributor, wiring, all that, intake manifold. And check out the inside of this. Look at that. It's just, it's disgusting. Just look at that. That's on the intake side. It's all oily and just disgusting. I haven't even been driving this thing hard at all for the past few weeks. It's just disgusting. So definitely gonna put what was it saying? The oil. The oil filter thing. It's like a catch can, an oil catch can. There you go. Put an oil catch can through this. So for the positive crankcase ventilation, oil catch can, and then into the intake. But that's just freaking disgusting. So is the intake over here. This is what the oil intake looks like. And you can it's just disgusting. In all of them. It's crusty. Look at that. Look at that crust. God. So, it's just absolutely disgusting. And then I'm going to clean up a few of these parts. Some oil in them and stuff. That's cleaning them up. Got some diesel fuel sitting on them soaking. And then see how that goes. And then we're going to put this valve train together. And then he's going to finish working on the short shifter, right?
Yeah, we had to sand that down. Because these balls here at the end this is the new one, were too big, so we had to sand them down so they're the same size as this, so that they could fit in here and we could put it back in the car. Yep,
you got to fit in the old bushings, so they wouldn't fit, and we're going to make them fit, giggity. And yeah, and then hopefully, once we pretty much have this ripped out, I've got the wiring for a battery relocation kit that I'm going to wire through here, and make sure that this car will support it. I got grounds coming from which is true because this wire from the negative goes right to a ground right there, and then that goes to a transmission ground. So it's all good. And then
the positive goes down to this wiring loom. Like, that's a bass speaker for my, not for my bass, for my amp. The same thing, kind of. But this loom right here goes to the starter and then also to this fuse panel. So I don't know if I was just going to run the positive wire up to the starter, which is what you should do, is how it usually is set up. But if you look, there's like 2 different sets of wires going on there. You have that fat one down there, I'm sure, for the starter, and then this guy. But I don't want to run a fat wire all the way up here. And then have it, you know, branch off from here, because that's just that's a fat load on that wire, all the way from the battery in the back, and I don't know how good that would be, especially on colder days. But gonna take a look at that and get some advice on that, and then go from there. But that's where we're sitting right now. So valve train, he's gonna finish playing with my balls, and then putting the shifter in. And then tear into this and see how far we keep going. And yeah, it's going. And then our banner in the background. Look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah, this is my ancient cover. It has nothing to do with anything relevant right now.
Then why are you holding it?
Just checking it out real quick. Oh, let me put that back. But yeah.
So, 303 Racing, here we are. So this is where we're been sitting right now. Got all the caps and the screws and everything cleaned up, ready to go on the new head. Essentially, got all the valves and the lifters and the lifters and the shims in, looking all good, ready to go. Cams are ready to go, so everything's pretty much ready to go. Started turning the car. Always one of my favorite part of the whole process is the timing belt. This is definitely loads of fun. I tried something different for once. I loosened up the tensioner and then I slipped it off the cam. What the heck? The cam gear. Yeah, the cam gear. So I slipped it off the cam gear, and sorry about that. And that was just a pain in the butt. Usually I go down here and I take off this pulley, and then I have to take off the cap up there. Well, over here, up here, there's like a big plastic, basically right here. See what that 92 says right there? That's just a more of a cover for the timing belt, and then I go in there and actually take off the timing belt, and then I do it right, which is in my opinion, but it's still hard. And then this was ridiculous to take off, and I've never done it, but I've seen people do it, and I was like, oh, I'll try it, and it sucked. So this is all pretty much ready to go. I got to take out the cams here, and they're a pain. There's this intake. You need to see that screw hole. You need to put a screw through that, because there's like these 2 different gears going on here. I don't know why or what. I'm going to read the manual again to see why, but I just know you have to put the screw through there, and it helps keep the tension in that gear or something, because I forget what they're described as, but that when it's loosened up, that helps keep tension on this other gear. I forget what it's called, but I'll bring that up later. And I'm just kind of worried about the state of the pistons, and I hope everything is all good, because it's pretty dirty in here, and all those, like, the little nooks, you see all that, like that little crap bit right there off on the side came from that head bolt. So that's got me a little bit worried, but I mean, we're already here, and obviously we keep going, so it has me worried about what's going on inside there. So got everything else off, power steering, water hoses. I'll take the thermostat off the head once I get the head out, and I can put on the other one, nice and easy, and everything's off. There's a smart starter down there, so basically everything's ready to go. I just need to take the cams out. Once the cams are out, I can take the head off, loosen it up, all the head bolts. And fun fact, I guess, is when you do all these, you have to do them in order. So diagonal. So if I'm doing like one camshaft, I need to do the can doesn't go all the way over there, it goes over here. So like this one, and then this one, and then you start again from this one, this one, this one, this one. You just do a diagonal pattern, and you loosen them up all equally. So like 90-degree turn, 90-degree turn. So that way they all lift up as one level piece, and they don't torque down or anything. Because you can crack the camshaft, or you can crack the head. That would suck. So same thing with the head. When you're removing the head bolts, but yeah, not really a tutorial, just kind of showing what's up. And oh yeah, so the valve springs were loads of fun. And what we did was I found this nut thing that I had laying around, and I cut a chunk out of it here, and then this sat on the valve spring, and it sat on the valve spring, and I used a socket like this, and I pushed down, and then that put the valve spring over the valve, and then all we had to do is have the keepers in, and the keepers were already pre-placed in the retainer on the top. But if they didn't fall in, then Manazzi, which is in there, he would he was the doctor on the other side here, and kind of finagled them in and finessed them, which was great. And then
the nimblest fingers in the game.
The nimblest, oh my goodness. So that was definitely a hell of a time, because I started with quarters, and I made my own tool for about $1.25, but it just wasn't working. Too much flex, and it wasn't deep enough. And then I was looking around. I was just going to cut up a socket, and I looked around a little bit more, and then I found that nut wherever he went, and insert Holy clip here, that made it a whole lot easier, and it only took 2 hours then, but the whole process took like 5 hours or so. So that sucked. But now we know how to do it, and we got a process down, so if we had to do it again, it takes 2 hours, which inevitably we will do again. But seriously, fuck that thing. That thing's a piece of shit, at least for this stuff. Like, you need an older time. That's like for older engines. That's just no bueno. So, that's currently where we stand. That's how that went. And then, also the short shifter, Nice has been working on that. And so, since it's a shorter shifter, this length has been increased so that the horizontal travel that I go is also, so it's going to be a shorter distance for me, because this is going to be traveling a longer distance and go in and out of gears quicker. So this is longer. The linkage that fits on the bottom of this is hitting the bottom of the car down here. It's hitting this, so we're gonna get some spacers, and we're going to go run the Ace, get some spacers, and be able to stick them up under here, and basically lift up this housing levelly, and then all will be good, and we can put the short shifter in. But there's a housing, and it's everything's out, so we can just get to that, which is ridiculous, but Nazi had to do what he had to do. So that's where it sits, and that's pretty much it. All I gotta do for the valve cover is redo these seals. I got one out here, that's that guy. I have these other three, but just got him out just for messing around, show Nazi in case he needs something to do. And then that's it. So see you in like another few seconds, and hopefully this will be out and going over that. You can't really tell, but right over here, there's that black wire. I ran that all through this crap. Let me move up the seat here. So you can see that. That is the positive. That is for the battery, because I'm relocating to the trunk. I'm just going to tie the negative into the seat belt, make sure that's all grounded, and tie it in right there. That's perfect. And anyway, sorry for all probably the motion sickness here, but I threw it in underneath this carpet, and right by this emergency brake, by the shifter boot up there, and up there. I can't really get in there. I'm kind of dirty right now, so but I got it up there and through the firewall over here, which is where I also threw the amp cable and the oil pressure gauge line, and that's also the one for the speed sensor that hooks up to the transmission. And there it is, ready to go. So that's done. I just did that before I got too dirty. I stripped off the head, and it smelled a bit, and I was wondering what's going on. And those are all the water cooling jackets, and I think they're full of rust. So I'm going to take off this head gasket and see what's going on, but that doesn't make me feel very good. I'm going to see if there's any warpage going on and check the cylinders out, but that doesn't make me feel very good about that. That's just no bueno. I mean, at least the oil cavities are cleaned out, but like, when I got this, I checked when I changed out the water pump, there was like light rust in there, and I blew a bunch of it out. There's like light stuff, and I flushed the whole thing twice as far as coolant wise, but I didn't know that it was going to be like this. I've never heard about anything like this, and the guy at the junkyard said it had been run for a little bit before they before they sold it to me. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't have to take it apart and totally inspect it. I did take off the oil pan and redo that gasket, and there was some light gunk on the bottom, but just from it sitting. So I got rid of that, but that's got me nervous. So here's the head. Sorry, it's cold outside and it's warm in here, but it is just super filthy. I didn't even look at it is just disgusting. Those valves are, those are oh man, look at that. That is way worse than the head that I have. Yeah, I cleaned it up, but it looked pretty bad, but nothing like that. Look at that valve. Jesus. That exhaust valve is nasty. But, there's, right here, look at those intake ports. Jesus, man. That is disgusting. I don't... Definitely putting in a oil catch can on this thing, so that doesn't happen to my new one. All that shit in there, that's disgusting. But anyway, there's the update. So, about to see how this goes. Update. I got the head in. I got the cams in. I cleaned and got the head all prepped and everything, and cleaned out the holes of the head bolts. I just for cleaning the surface of the head, I literally just used the back end of a razor. I just drag it across the head and try to keep it concentric with the center of. So you have the piston cylinder, and basically I went like this, right, and crossed it, and then around the cylinders here, I'd keep the razor tangent to the center of the circle, and I just go like this, and keep going. But it turns out that the head gasket, it was just a head gasket that was just effed up. So there's 22 water jackets here for water to go through, and only 8 of them, only 4 of them were open really. I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Only 4 of them were open. The rest are all just blocked off. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And the rest here just blocked off. So and I was beating the crap out of this thing in the summer heat and an autocross, and yeah, so that's lovely. But I don't think there's any warp damage. So the head seems fine. The block seems fine. So that's a good thing. I'm glad I kept the thermostat out too, because I was debating to put the thermostat in, and I never did, and I'm glad I didn't, because that probably is what saved it, by keeping the water going through the whole radiator and going, helping keep the head cool, to keep the block cool. Especially just in general, that probably definitely helped save it over time. But that's all good. I need to get new spark plugs soon. The stock gap is 43 thousandths of an inch. The right one was at 58, and I just kind of closed the gap a little bit to about 50. The rest are at 48, 50, and so I need to get new plugs soon. They just look beaten. I think they're actually bent back from the previous owners, what it looked like, but whatever. They're gonna work for now until I get to my parents' house, and then I have some there that I'm gonna size up and see what's going on. But I got everything else ready. Throttle body's been cleaned. I'm gonna not say clean that. I cleaned the distributor. I need a new cap and rotors and plugs. The distributor, the points, and the cap. They're just all I sanded them down lightly. They were all corroded, and half the points I'll show it when I take it out later when I replace it. But in the distributor, half the points are straight, not straight. They're like bent in. There's a section missing. They're supposed to be straight, but there's material missing in the middle, and some of them there's material gain, so it's like that. It's really weird, but I'll show that later. So that definitely needs to happen. A gasket for the exhaust manifold's ready. Pretty much I got everything ready here. I just waiting for my roommate to come help me out because the timing belt. Get the this situated with all the new spark plug tube seals. This is all ready to go. Everything is actually just ready to go. Literally, all I need to do is put this timing belt on, get this thing in timing, and then just throw it back together, which will probably take me an hour and a half to put everything back together and have it back on its wheels. But I need to drain the oil. I need to drain some oil down there to flush out the oil galleries. Excuse me. And then so whatever crap I knocked off when I was cleaning the surface, I guess get oil because I'm going to drain that, and then there's no coolant, and because of the whole blockage thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up out there, outside the garage. I'm going to get a hose, and the inlet is here because the water goes into the radiator up here and then down and then up into here for the thermostat housing. So I'm just going to take a hose and shoot water up in here and just let it cycle out for like 5 minutes and just hopefully blow out a bunch of chunks and a bunch of shit and get a bunch of that crap out. And then I'll actually plumb her up and fill her with coolant and everything else. But I need to get everything out. I don't want to be, especially since I don't want to get stuff in the fins of the radiator, and next thing you know my radiator's clogged and all that shit. So I'm going to do that, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and back to servicing the deck of the sorry, I'm a little chilly. It's about like 45 degrees in here, and I'm just wearing this long sleeve and these pants, and I haven't really been doing much for the past half an hour. The block surface, so I use the back end of the razor, and then I just lightly got off the scraped off the carbon off the pistons with a razor that I used here. I bent it so that I wouldn't have to worry about scratching up the surface of the deck, because that would suck. So I did that, and for the head stud bolts, I just used compressed air, and then I followed through with a a head stud bolt that I had laying around, which is over there. But so if I had a tap, then I would have used that, but I don't have a tap, and I didn't want to take time to cut out a notch into one of those old head bolts and then thread that through. I just took one and I just threaded it through. Every time I was done, I cleaned it with a towel, threaded it through the rest, blew them out again, and there wasn't anything blowing out that time, and I was like, cool, all right. Lightly lubed up the bolts, and I just used a little bit of engine oil, whatever I have over here, the 5W30. Throw that a little bit of head studs, bang those in. When you do it, you have to do it to an owner's manual, or however the manual is. I have the service manual, so it's great because I just kind of follow the directions on there, and it's kind of a learning process for me because I've never done something like this, which is great because now I have the book and I have like the dealerships, like the automakers way of doing it. But the head bolts, they started because we were putting them in. When you take them off, you start diagonally across the ends. Sorry, but putting the heads in, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. Oh, I messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. One. What the heck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. All right. Anyway, that's you do a pattern like that where you just kind of zigzag, and you do that over multiple passes. I did like 5 passes and just snugged them up continuously, and then the last pass, the torque was I believe like 27 foot-pounds, and then their specs are a 90-degree turn. So after you have it like that, you're supposed to mark on the bolt and then do a 90-degree turn. But I just eyed it up with the wrench. I had a wrench. The wrench I was using, I would give it light tension, and then I'd like mark a spot of the car, and then I'd be like, all right, 90 degrees from there. Yeah. You know, the block face, and then I just go with that. I know you're not supposed to do that, which I just found out like an hour ago, but like whatever. It worked, nothing broke, and they did make some sounds, and to be honest, number 3 did feel like it got a little loose at the end, but I'm not sure, I think it was just elongating, so if it breaks, it breaks, and then I tear it apart and put a new one in, but whatever. I think it's fine, honestly. I just lightly, I put some good pressure on like a couple others, and I put the same amount of pressure on that, and it didn't move. So I'm fine with it. But if it does break, I'll know and figure it out. But this is all ready to go. I just need to put it in time. And the manual is like, oh, you can just you put this belt over here, and I put the tensioner all the way off to the side and snugged it up. So that has nothing to do with it. But they're like, oh, you can put the thing over here and turn it by hand or whatever. And the diagram that they have is literally this. Ready? Coil the timing belt around the camshaft timing pulley from the side where the belt is put up on your right side. All right. Turn the crankshaft pulley. Install the timing belt to the camshaft. I tried. It doesn't work. So I'm just saying, screw it. I'm gonna get my roommate out here and put the car in drive. It's a stick, so I just put it in like 4th or something, and then have him hold the brakes, and then I'll bust the nut loose off of that crankshaft pulley, and then take off that lower timing belt cover, and set the timing how I usually do, the proper way in my head. Because that's how I've done it the past like 5 times. I've never done it this way with having the time belt cover on the bottom and stuff. And this is what they were like, oh, here's like a quick, easy way to do it. I don't get it. I spent like an hour probably doing it, messing around, and I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna destroy the belt. So I'm gonna just wait for my roommate to get up, because it's like 7:30 in the morning. So wait for him to get up, and I'll put this back together hopefully. But all I gotta do is literally put this back in timing. As soon as that's done, I know it's in timing, then I can put the rest of this back together, so I can dump oil down here, put the goop up these joints over here, just a little corner of the caps, put a little bit of the seal packing grease, whatever that's called, there, and then put the valve cover on, and then literally just assemble everything else together and do what I just said. So that is where it sits, and then I'll probably that's pretty much it. Oh, and then but I'm gonna go take a shower and go eat. So when I get back, if he's still not up, I'm probably gonna work on the shifter and put the shifter back together. So yeah, it's a work in progress. All right. You made it this far, I applaud you. It's been a while. I didn't realize how long this stuff would take, but it is currently July 14th, 2019. It's been 2 weeks since I made the video. Had a bunch of other stuff going on, and I forgot to keep updates on this, and then just a lot of things happened at once. So anyway, got this all back together. It runs freaking great. I got an oil catch can over here. It's got an air leak, so got a massive vacuum leak going on with that. And there's also just some small vacuum leak that's causing it to idle high as well. Got to figure that out. But this will all be kind of done a little bit, another day or so. Probably going to put it back in the garage and finish it up for good. and you see the battery's gone. But I got a heat shield piece that I'm going to put here, and I'll be showing again later. I'm going to put the intake up here. There's going to be some ducting. I don't know if I'm going to put a piece of metal down there that's going to angle air upwards, or my original intent was to remove the whole windshield washer assembly because I don't even use it, and have a pipe that comes up that reroutes oncoming air through the front of the bumper up into there, so that gets cold air and it's not sucking hot air from the radiator. That'd be mint. So that's basically like the rough idea what's going on there. This engine runs freaking great. The flow is awesome. The top end is way better off than it used to be. It used to, like, my tachometer just still doesn't work, so I don't know what RPM it is, but used to, like, top end was just, it was done. Now it just keeps pulling. If I had headers, oh my goodness, oh, that'd be great, but I don't have it, so rip. This is where the battery sits. I wasn't originally gonna put it on the left side, but driver's side weight, my fat ass, so stick it over here, and just basically put some tabs down, welded them in, one on the other side as well. This guy is snug up in here. This battery's for sure not going anywhere. You could probably, honestly, yeah, never mind. But this is working great. Oh, I should show you where the positive line goes in. I just tied the positive wire all the way up here to the junction, and then I zip tied this for now. I'm going to get a, whatchamacallit, there's a small, like, plastic container that I'm gonna put this in, so this positive end never ends up touching a, could ever end up touching a ground on the car, because that would suck. But right now there's no metal around it anywhere, and it's just zip tied right here. She's not going anywhere. It works fine. So that's that. And the short shifter didn't end up working. More on that later, but basically we're not sanding down the balls over here for the linkages a little too small, so the lower one would pop out of the bushing, which sucks. So I ordered up a new one. Thankfully it's only 15 bucks. So we're about to start working on that in the next couple days. And this is just here because there's an interesting, like, kind of like a dowel pin, but it's a pin with like these, I'll show it to you later maybe, but that thing was a pain in the butt to get out. You had to hammer it out, and I was going to hammer it in for a short time use. And this Allen wrench is my new friend, so he's doing good. And then basically, as soon as the short shifter's in, we can put the whole rest of this stuff, the whole dash assembly back together. I'd love to, because I'd like to get my radio back and my music, which I've been really missing, because the sound system in this is amazing. So, but this is where we stand, and there's definitely not going to be a next video on this, but I wanted to give an update so I can finish this video series, and then get back to it. The next part is just I'm redoing the ignition. New plugs, going to get copper plugs instead of these iridium ones. So I know they don't last as long, but whatever. More stuff on that later. But new plugs, new wires, new distributor, rotor, all new ignition, and then I can put it back in timing, because I know it's off of timing right now. So I'll put it in timing, and then do the intake set, do the cold air intake. Finish what I want to do with that, the catch can, and the vacuum leak, and this will all be done pretty much, and hopefully that's it. And I just got to clean the crap out of this. As soon as all that's done, I can paint some stuff up, like that nut, these nuts over here, giggity. Gotta sand that stuff down, paint it up, do some touch-up paint on the hood, and then like this, sand this down and paint this. Is just little stuff like that, and then just clean the crap out of the engine bay, and wash this car, and finally clean her up, because it's been a while. I just haven't washed her in a long time, because I keep working on it, so why would I wash it when I'm going to get dirty again? But yeah, that's where it stands, and until the next one. Actually, I close this.